It's time for Baby and Toddler Instructions with host Blythe Lipman. Blythe is a nationally renowned infant and toddler expert who has over 30 years' experience helping moms and dads regain their sanity, teaching them how to survive, and giving them the confidence they need to be the best parents ever. From sleeping to crying to potty training to choosing a preschool and so much more. If you're a parent, Baby and Toddler Instructions is the show you've been looking for. Now here's your host, Blythe Lipman.
Well, good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you might be in. I am so happy you could tune in today. I'm so excited about my guest. Her name is Wendy Dotson. She's a certified nurse midwife, and she'll be with us in just a bit. She's going to tell us everything we want to know about using a midwife. You know, and I always have lots of questions. Not that I'm going to have any more children, but, you know, things change, and a lot of people use midwives to deliver their babies, and it's really interesting, and I can't wait to talk to her. But I guarantee you by the end of the show, if you're thinking about it, your decision will be a lot easier. I trust you all had some wonderful Father's Day celebrations. You know, my dad is no longer with us, but I reflected a lot about the life lessons he taught me over the years. And from reading all the posts and the tweets, we can all see how influential our dads can be. So if you're a new dad, remember you are your child's best role model, and they're always watching you. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So enjoy every minute. And by the way, check out my website, mybestparentingadvice.com. Baby Jake, who sort of helps me run the website, just did a post of the top 10 tips to help dads take care of their babies. Because, you know, when mom goes out, sometimes she tells you what to do, and you're not quite sure, but you don't want to let her know that. So if you check out Baby Jake's post about the list, you'll know what to do, and you can even score some brownie points with the baby mama. So check that out. And also, don't forget to listen to all the great shows we have on TogiNet. I love all of them. Josephine just has Paying It Forward before my show. She had a great show. And I was on Military Mom Talk Radio the other day talking to a woman named Grace that wrote a terrific book about why moms wear uniforms. I'm going to try to have her on my show later in the year, or later in the summer, I should say. But anyway, so check out Baby Jake's post on mybestparentingadvice.com. And of course, quickly, yes, it is now in the low 100s every day here in Arizona, but I am not complaining. Our mornings are so beautiful, and our evenings, and perfect time for a walk. But I do hope the terrible weather in those plain states clears up. I mean, you've had some terrible tornadoes. It's so devastating. So I am sending my good energy and prayers to all those areas, and I hope the sunshine comes out and never goes in. At least for a while. I mean, yes, we do need some rain, but we don't need the tornadoes with it now, do we? Recalls. There were recalls this week, but there was an interesting article that you may have seen about spray-on sunscreens, how they may pose potential risks to young children. It says the FDA is looking into the risks they pose. Spray cans of sunscreen are convenient, you know, and they are. You just spray your kids. You don't have to, you know, put tons of sunscreen in your hands and rub it all over them, and they run away, and you know how that goes. But anyway, when spraying the children down, especially while they're squirming, they're looking at this because the squirmy ones, it says, are most likely to breathe in the ingredients that you're spraying. And one of the moms says, it's just my go-to. It's faster. I can do it here and not have to think about it ahead of time. So she uses it a lot on her two daughters. And it dries fast, but Consumer Reports website suggests that she may want to think about it again. You know, we know anything we put on our body has a potential for side effects. The question there is it bad? Is it chemicals directly, or the fact that the chemicals irritate the lungs, or they can trigger asthma attacks? Dr. Jeffrey Simon urges parents to think less about the potential dangers of sunscreen and more of how much it's really needed. This was what he said. But the FDA is kind of looking at this. I have to tell you, if you are, here's my advice, and I am not a doctor. This is not medical. Personally, I don't like the spray-on sunscreens because they're kind of sticky and they make your skin turn a funny color to me. but they are easier. And if you're going to use them on your children, do it outside for two reasons. First of all, it's better to be out in the air. Tell them to please close their mouths. And also, if you've ever sprayed that sunscreen in your house and it goes on the floor, it is darn slippery. You can break your neck. So I will keep you posted. You know, the FDA, thank goodness, they're always looking out for us. So that was pretty interesting. Also, my tips today are from Help, My Baby Came Without Instructions. Since we're going to be talking to Wendy Dotson, the midwife, it's from the chapter on I'm a new mom and don't know what to do. Survival 101, learning how to take care of yourself. You know, that's a tough one. When you first have your baby, you're tired, but, you know, many times you want to be super mom. The adrenaline is up there first, and then you crash, and the hormones are all over. But it's so important to take good care of yourself because, let's face it, that baby needs you, your partner, husband needs you, and you're not going to get the sleep you did. So just a couple tips from my chapter, I'm a new mom and don't know what to do. You know, you've probably always done your own laundry, cleaned your own house, mowed your own lawn. Don't feel guilty about asking somebody to help and even paying a professional if it's in your budget. You cannot do it all, and the laundry does not have to be done every single day. You know, if the laundry basket is a little fuller than you like before you had a baby, it's okay. As long as you're not running around naked, for goodness sakes. Also, while grandma means well, and she wants to be there to help you every second, you know, make sure in the beginning you try to establish some ground rules. You don't want any hurt feelings. She is just as excited about the baby as you are. And so set some ground rules up and explain, you know, sometimes you just want a little time to yourself because you've never been a new mom, a new dad, and you want to figure it out yourself. Also, remember these words if you don't remember anything else. Yes, thank you so much. You're such a great friend. When a friend asks you if she can pick up some cleaning, get you a few items at the grocery store, you know, return some Redbox movies, whatever it is, yes, thank you so much. I know as moms, we all want to do everything, but, you know, enjoy your baby. When that baby takes a nap, you take a nap because sleep will make the world look like a better place, and it's okay. No super moms allowed, and not the G word either. Do not feel guilty. You're not allowed to use that anymore. I don't think women need to use that. I think it's inbred in us. What else? Let's see what I have today. Oh, this was pretty interesting going along the lines of babies and pregnancy. In the Sunday New York Times, there was an article by Patricia Volk in Private Lives. It's called The TMI Pregnancy. Obviously, TMI, too much information. This article was really kind of cute, and I want to talk to Wendy about this when she comes on in just a few minutes. It starts with becoming a mother was so simple. When I became a mother, pregnancy was treated as a natural experience. You peed in a cup, and once a month, the obstetrician pressed a stethoscope against your belly, and you smiled. But with this is the grandma talking. My son is stuck at work, so I get to take my daughter-in-law for the first prenatal visit. The doctor squeezes the gel, and you see a white watermelon seed pops up on the screen, and she says, your baby is 7 weeks and 5 days old. Wow, I think, yes, but will it get into Harvard? Next, she says, they draw her blood, and we'll be needing 18 tests now. Well, we pretend not to be anxious, waiting for the results from the first visit. Every time this grandma goes for the ultrasound with her, they are guardedly happy. Normal becomes the favorite word. And this article goes on to talk about all the things they look at. And, you know, one of the most joyous times of life is turned into something ominous, fraught, and loaded with potential things that go wrong. 3 months before her due date, the text says the baby has a short long bone. Its long bone, aka femur, is 2 weeks behind schedule. Then she goes for another ultrasound, and the tech tells her that the baby is very, very small. So grandma says, well, Erica was 9 pounds, 5 ounces. Peter's 6'1", and now they're really, really worried. And on the following visit, they learn that the baby is in the breech position, and they're going to do something called ECV, external cephalic version, where they turn the baby around somehow by kneading the abdomen. And this grandma says, watch it on YouTube. So I guess they do this. And knowing that you're about to deliver an undersized breech baby with short, long bones is not relaxing news. Anyway, Erica ends up having high blood pressure, and they deliver the baby 2 weeks early by C-section. And the first thing they do is look at the baby's legs, and you know what? They're plump. They have these little creases that if you're Jewish, you know what pokis mean. Baby's fine. Bones are fine. The baby is now 2, and little Jack is perfect. So, we need to think about the tests are good, but how much do we really want to know? So when Wendy is on, we're going to talk to her since she delivers lots and lots of babies and has delivered them for a long time. She's a certified nurse midwife with Loudoun Community Midwife Center in Leesburg, Virginia. Since 1981, Wendy's had diverse experiences attending births in homes, birth centers, hospitals, and a few other odd locations, motel rooms, sidewalks, trucks. She practiced being a midwife in Texas, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Virginia, and Haiti. She's also a speaker and writer about pregnancy, birth, women's health, and works legislatively to improve women's birth options. She has a BSN from George Mason University, a master's in nursing from New York Stony Brook, and she's been a contributing writer in national midwifery publications and nursing texts. And let's see, she's a volunteer with a nonprofit organization, Midwives for Haiti. I can't wait to hear about that. She travels regular to train Haitian midwives and visit her friends and godchild. She studies natural remedies, homeopathy, loves opera, is married to a man she calls best mid-husband ever, has 2 adult sons, loves hiking, yoga, biking. Phew, wow, Wendy, you do so much. When we come back from our commercial, we're going to talk to Wendy all about what a midwife is, why do we want to use midwives, do they do all these tests that I've talked about in this article? So many questions for Wendy. I'm so excited. So if you're tuning in and you have any questions for us, you can call us at 877-864-4869, or we do have a chat line on toginet.com. If you look at the top, it will say chat. Sign in. Love callers, love to talk to you. So we will be right back to talk to Wendy Dotson, certified nurse midwife.
We'll be right back with more Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lippman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these. Are you happy with your life? Satisfied with the direction you're taking? More importantly, are you content with the results you're seeing? Then Success Profiles Radio is the program for you. Join host Brian K. Wright as he talks to experts in many areas relating to life success, including expertise in leadership, business, relationships, careers, networking, health, overcoming adversity, and much more. Each week, we'll explore different aspects of success and how to apply them to your life. For more on Brian and the show, check out his website, briankwright.com. Each week is a dose of inspiration. So many people live their lives wanting more than they currently have. Success Profiles Radio is a show that will clearly demonstrate the principle, if I can do it, you can do it. So don't miss this opportunity to take control of your life and your results. Success Profiles Radio with Brian K. Wright, Mondays at 5 p.m. Central. Join us for Healing with the Marika Method. This is an amazingly informative show to help heal people as well as their horses, dogs, and cats. This show inspires and empowers people to take charge of their own health and their animals' health using the power of diet, nutrition, natural medicines, and lifestyle to heal a variety of health problems. Learn how food impacts all physical and emotional health conditions and how diet and natural medicines are used to heal the body, mind, and spirit. Marika is a health and nutrition specialist, homeopathic practitioner, a gifted medical intuitive and healer, and an author and educator with over 2 decades of experience in clinical practice for people and their pets. Join our host, Marika Vandewater, every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions. I would like to introduce you to my wonderful guest, Wendy Dotson. She's a certified nurse midwife. Wendy, thanks so much for being on the show this morning. How are you?
Hi, I'm well, thanks, Blythe. I'm glad to talk to you.
And are you in Virginia?
Yep, I'm in Leesburg, Virginia. I'm at my office today. We blocked out a little time so we could talk.
Oh, thank you. How's your weather?
It's a little hot, getting hotter today, up into the 90s.
Well, it's muggy there. Not that I remember. I was born in Richmond, but I can't remember that far back. Anyway.
And where are you?
I'm in Arizona.
Oh, that's probably pretty nice.
It gets in the hundreds, but you know what? We have beautiful mornings, beautiful evenings. Anyway, do you want to add anything to your bio? My goodness, you've done and do so much. How do you fit in babies there?
Well, I haven't done all of those things all at the same time, and I'm in my late 50s, so, it's sort of stacked up over time, but I do have a busy life, and I'm also in a bigger group. We have 5 full-time nurse midwives in our group, so I don't have to be on call all the time, thank God. We take turns at that.
That's good. Did you always love babies? Did you always want to do something with babies? Because I know starting at 9, I love babies. Who knew where I'd end up here? But I'm so excited that I did end up doing something with new parents and babies and toddlers. How about you?
It's funny. I actually got into midwifery after I got into veterinary medicine. My first degree was as a veterinary technician, and I really, from the time I was a teenager, worked with dogs and horses and cats. I worked in animal hospitals, and that was, it was always biology and life sciences, but I actually was into veterinary medicine, and then got invited to a birth of a friend. A friend was having her baby at home with a midwife in Texas, and I attended that and realized that a lot of the skills I had from working with animals really crossed over into working with laboring moms and helping them have their babies. And so it was a funny transition, but I actually fell in love with birth with animals first.
You know what? I think for some reason I love animals too, and I just think somehow they go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I believe that. So tell my listeners, what exactly does a midwife do? Because we don't all know. And, are you the doctor? Are you the doctor substitute? Or, let's set the record straight, because I did have a doula on my show a number of months ago, and she talked a lot about what a doula does, and a doula is different than a midwife.
Right. A doula is responsible to support the woman through her labor. A midwife is an alternative to a doctor, and so there isn't the one answer that says who should be using a midwife, because it depends on the situation. Midwives are experts at normal birth and at natural birth, and they shouldn't be taking care of high-risk women or women who need surgery or high-risk pregnancies. But midwives are really experts at conducting a woman through a normal pregnancy and a normal delivery and a normal postpartum. There's different types of midwives, and I'm a certified nurse midwife, which means I have a background in nursing and then in a graduate degree in nurse midwifery. So that type of midwife is also credentialed by the medical community, and we're allowed to have privileges in hospitals and have the ability to prescribe medicines that we need to use. And we also have relationships with physicians so that when things don't go normally, because they don't always go normally, we have a backup plan and a physician who gets involved. So that's what a certified nurse midwife does. And we can deliver babies in homes, birth centers, or hospitals. Most CNMs, that's what the abbreviation is, most CNMs work in hospital settings. I've worked in all 3 settings, birth centers and homes as well, but my practice is a hospital-based practice right now. So, but it's an option for healthy women who are having a normal pregnancy to have a midwife as their caregiver instead of a physician. And sometimes there are groups of doctors and midwives who offer both of those alternatives in the same practice. Our practice is just a midwifery practice.
So if you are in the hospital and you're using a midwife, does the doctor come in at all?
No, what I tell my mamas is that if everything is fine, you don't see a doctor, and that's the case for their whole care. We are qualified as a certified nurse midwife. We're qualified to give comprehensive prenatal care and during the delivery and postpartum. If they choose to have an epidural, which is an option at our hospital, then they would see the anesthesiologist. That's the one physician they would see because he would come in and put in the epidural. I don't do that. But no, a healthy mom gets all of her care from our midwife group, and she has all of her care during the labor from the regular nursing staff and from the nurse midwife. And in the postpartum time, instead of the doctor making rounds, the midwife makes rounds at her at the hospital and sees her postpartum. And then she comes back to our office at 6 weeks and has her checkup with us, and we do her family planning if she wants to be on birth control, and if she has little problems with breastfeeding or other things like that, we see her after that too. We also do gynecology for healthy women. So usually the moms who've had their babies with us come back, every year for their annual checkup and for any little minor problems that they have in terms of female health. So, yeah, that's what we do.
So how do you know if you want to use a midwife? I mean, do people come to you and they interview you and they say, well, I'm really scared because, we've heard horror stories about everything, about doctors, about nurses, about doulas. And, I know using a midwife is great for lots and lots of people. And there's no right or wrong answer. So what is the biggest fear with a midwife?
Most people their biggest concern is that if things don't go normally, does the midwife have the ability does she have the wisdom to transfer her into the next level of care, and does she have the resources to do that? And I think those are really important questions. And so we always talk that through with our moms. And we have a really, really informative website because we've been doing this a long time. We've been at our hospital for 15 years, and we know what the questions are that people ask. So they're really addressed on our website and in our conversations that we have. But in our case, we have doctors. We have a nice relationship with a group of doctors at our hospital who are always on campus. They take turns. One is always on call at the hospital. They don't even, they're sleeping at the hospital all the time, one of them. So if we have a problem, as I like to tell our clients, you don't lose your midwife, you gain a doctor, and the team gets bigger, and there's more people involved in taking care of a situation like a C-section. But the midwife stays involved, and we actually scrub in and help on the C-section too. So that's a really important question for people to ask is what is normal, what is not normal, what are the parameters that mean a midwife can take care of me? And we even have a questionnaire. There's a health screening we do when people come into care. Have you had bleeding disorders? Have you had, different medical problems that would make someone high risk for pregnancy? Do they have twins? Do they have a history of premature delivery? Those are all things that would maybe indicate someone should have a physician instead of a midwife. But when everything's normal, and it continues to be normal through the pregnancy, they're not, gaining 100 pounds, and they're not having high blood pressure, and they have normal ultrasounds and things like that, then we continue taking care of them all the way through. And that's really part of our job is a midwife is someone who really focuses on what's normal and responds to situations that are not normal, but we really feel part of our job is to keep birth treated as not a disease, not an illness, not a crisis waiting to happen, like you talked about in that article from the New York Times,
Right. I mean, what do you think? Things are so different. People are putting their ultrasound pictures on Facebook, and, is it good to know so much? It's hard to balance when I think about it myself, because how much do you want to know? It's like going to the doctor when you're sick and they tell you 10 things you never want to hear that, hopefully will never happen. But let me just tell you, what side effects you could get or whatever it is. I mean, how much do we really need to know? Because there used to be, maybe there was one test or who knows. I mean, I thought when the baby came out, they had the Apgar test, and we never heard about all the other stuff before you had the baby.
I know. Well, I think we are an information overload culture. We have so many opportunities to get information, and I think we actually don't even know what to do with the information some of the time. So when our clients come to us, we counsel them as to all the tests that are available, but we don't require all the tests to be done, and it depends on the woman and the family and what they choose to do. There's certain things we have to do. We have to know her blood type and her blood counts, and we have to know certain immunities, and we do like to have at least one ultrasound in the middle of the pregnancy to make sure that the baby's heart is normal, the baby's brain is normal, make double, triple sure that there's only one baby, that the placenta is in the right place. So we like one ultrasound, but we certainly don't do one at every visit on a normal pregnancy, and we don't think we should. But there's so many, I think even imaging, ultrasound has gotten so good that there's lots of little tiny findings that if they see it on the ultrasound, they have to put it in the report. But what's the follow-up for that? The short femur, the low-lying placenta that's not exactly too low, but we have to watch it, and it creates more and more testing to follow. You do a test, and then you do a test to follow up that test, and you do a test to follow up the next test. So it takes a lot of wisdom to navigate that, for sure, and I think it's stressful.
You know what? It is stressful, and I think that's when you come in to calm the person down, because, there are things that can happen, and it's amazing how much maybe you don't need to know. I mean, every little thing, sometimes we don't need to know every little thing. I know for myself, when I go to the doctor, I don't want to know the 26,000 things that happened to 4 people 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. If I'm sick and you trust your doctor or your midwife, you know what to share, and that's what's so important, because you're professional and you do know what to share, and you don't, in the 4th month want to say, well, I don't know if this looks right, because who knows? I think there's a fine line from what you're saying as to what to share and how many tests to order, and, what do you do with them, because just not knowing is what's so scary. And then you have this beautiful, perfectly normal baby, and you look back, and sometimes I've heard moms say, I wish they didn't tell me this. I mean, I've had them say, I was so scared, and, but the baby's perfectly fine. So you have a tough job, but it sounds like you love it, and I am so excited you're on the show. Quickly tell my listeners your website, because we're going to break for commercial, and then we'll talk to you some more.
Oh, sure. Our website is LoudonCommunityMidwives.com, and Loudon is spelled with Loudon, CommunityMidwives.com.
Okay, well, we will be right back.
Baby love, my baby love, I need you, I need you.
We'll be right back with more help. For help, my baby came without instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
Baby love, my baby love, I need you, I need you.
We often ask, is that all there is? Why is this happening to me? Why am I always broke? How am I going to survive this mess? Then join Dr. Geraldine Tegeloff for Nature Spirit Speak, 7 p.m. Tuesday evenings on TogiNet.com. Geraldine is a metaphysician, nature intuitive, and prosperity coach who shares with you how she went from totally broke to living what she would call her perfectly prosperous life. Through the combination of a wealth of metaphysical knowledge and her amazing ability as an intuitive, Geraldine brings to you the secrets of her magical journey of healing emotionally, spiritually, and financially. As with the ancient seers and master teachers, Geraldine has a unique gift of being able to connect to the simple yet profound messages brought to us by Mother Nature, and happily shares these through today's note to self on her webpage, naturespiritSpeak.com. If you need help with your journey, why not connect with Geraldine during her show, Nature Spirit Speak, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Information about book publishing is power. The power to change your authoring life and the power to change the lives of your readers. So join us for Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. You'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now. As the book shepherd, Dr. Judith Briles is in. And each week, she will include publishing professionals that will reveal tips and secrets to the author's journey. If there is a book in you want to listen, learn, and yes, call in with your questions each week. For more on Judith and what she can do for you, check out her website, thebookshepherd.com. It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know, but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by Author You and the Book Shepherd, with your host, Dr. Judith Briles. Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back to the show. I am here with my wonderful guest, Wendy Dotson, certified nurse midwife, and we're talking all about choosing a midwife, what they do, and I'll tell you what, Wendy, first of all, thank you for being on the show. I just went and looked at your website, and my gosh, it's beautiful. And it looks like you've answered everything. And at the beginning of the show, I was talking about a post. I have baby Jake. He sort of helps me with my website, mybestparentingadvice.com. And this week he did a little post because of Father's Day, 10 of the most important tips to help dads take care of their new babies. And I love on your site, which is www.loudoncommunitymidwives.com, that you have a section for dads, because sometimes dads kind of get left behind. What do you find with dads the most that they want to know about midwives? Because, you know, it was always, look at years ago, they sat in the waiting room and passed out cigars. It's not the same now, but, you know, Tell us what dads ask you and tell you.
Oh, I'll be glad to, and I'll also, just because you mentioned that you complimented the website, I have to say that's a Sandra Beck journey that I did. Sandra helped me with that, and it was her staff that told me to do the Just for Dads, so I really have to give them...
And Robin. Robin's on the chat line right now.
Oh, hey, good, yeah.
She said she was waving to you.
Oh, well, it was Sandra's folks who told me to do that. But what I put now, that the Just for Dads section isn't completed. There's certain sections that don't have anything in them yet. But we addressed the things that really are the hot button items for dads, and that's really the first thing that they ask is on that first page of, is this safe? Why does she want this? Why should we do this? You know, is it okay to have a midwife? What if something happens? Because dads are all about safety.
Sure.
They're protectors. They have that chip, you know, in their program is to make sure that your woman and your baby are safe. So that's one of the things we address right away. They also want to know, is this going to cost me an arm and a leg? Because they're also providers, and they think they have that chip, you know, in their program as well. And they're interested in sex, so we address intimacy and pregnancy. And they're interested in how to be a great dad, so or a great support person. So, we address all of that on the website.
Do they ask you if it's legal? Because I know people think midwives are like from the 1800s, and that's not true.
Right, they do. Well, people ask that sometimes, but usually by the time they get to me, they've figured it out that we're professionals and we're legal. But, that's more like somebody I meet in the grocery store or a party who says, is that legal? Usually when the dads are coming to us, they're already in our office, and they usually come to the office to see if it looks normal and if it looks like a professional thing, and they usually leave really reassured.
Do you find that women that have used you as a midwife for first pregnancies, that's the only way they're going to go for the rest of the pregnancies? I mean, to me, sounds like something I would do.
Yes, definitely. We have many, many mamas who come back to us for baby and baby after baby, and we also get people who had a midwife in another state who moved here and then said, well, I need a midwife. How can I find a midwife? And I hope that happens when people have their first baby with us and then move somewhere else. They seek out a midwife because they like that style of care.
No, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to ask you a question. Do you remember the very first time that you delivered a baby?
Of course I do.
And how it felt? Were you scared? Or what were you?
I was all those things. I mean, I think that you should never get so confident in what you do that you don't have a moment of knowing that this is momentous, and this is a spiritual event, and this is a huge event, and it should always be momentous. But yes, I was scared, but I was also excited, and I felt like I knew what to do. And it was a quick delivery, so it was actually
that helped.
That helped a lot. Yep. So and it was not planned. I was partway through my training, and my teacher the midwife who I was apprenticing with didn't make it because the birth was so quick. So I actually was all by myself with the mama.
Wow, that's great though. What a nice memory for the first one. Do midwives also deliver multiples, or do you need to have a doctor if they're twins or triplets?
That's different midwives would answer that a different way, but in my practice, we do not do multiples. We try to go for the lowest risk profile possible. There are midwives who are skilled at doing twins, but in our practice, we don't do them.
That's good to know. What about? Now, I notice on your site you also talk about the common complaints: nausea, headaches. Of course, everybody's tired. And I am wondering, because you said that you're interested in you study homeopathy, which I think homeopathic remedies are wonderful. Do you have any tricks, or it's not a medical show, and anybody that's listening, you know what, you always need to check with your own physician or midwife, whoever is following you with a pregnancy. But I do want to ask, because I have people. I talk to mothers before they have the babies, and some of them are so nauseous, and they always ask me, what can I do? And I always wonder if there's something new. We always have said crackers and, make sure there's something in your stomach. What do you tell your pregnant moms to be?
There's a whole list of things, and those common complaints are written up on that website to be available for anybody who wants to look. But we use everything from, actually the midwife I work with a lot, Margie and a couple of the other partners in the practice here, are using a lot of aromatherapy right now, and they're using peppermint essential oil as one of the good go-to resources to help with nausea. We also use papaya, eating papaya, lots of little snacks, vitamin B6, 50 milligrams morning and evening, plus a Unisom at night. One Unisom has been proven to really reduce nausea in early pregnancy, and it's considered acceptable, in the safety profile for pregnant women. So there's lots of different things we do. Acupuncture can help. The little C-bands that people wear on their wrists can help. And sometimes it's just sticking it out for those, 8 to 12 weeks too.
It's true. And I had a mom ask me about a month ago about acupuncture. She said, do they put the needles in your stomach? And, when I've talked to, I love acupuncture, and I know they're very, very careful, but where do they put the needles? Do you know when you do acupuncture?
Needles are not just put in the stomach. They're put in different lines of the body, and they're put very shallowly just under the skin, but they can be anywhere from your head to your toes.
Well, I just had a question come in, and somebody said, sometimes I wake up with a headache in the morning when I'm pregnant. Is that because I don't have anything in my stomach, or is that just part of pregnancy?
I think the answer to a lot of questions, my husband says this about real estate too, is it depends. That's like the best answer to a lot of questions. But I think waking up with an empty stomach, the best solution is to get something in your stomach soon. Also, your blood sugar is less stable when you're pregnant, so lots of little snacks that contain protein is key. So not just crackers, but maybe a little dab of peanut butter on your cracker, maybe a half a yogurt. Every hour, if somebody has nausea or headaches when they're in the early part of pregnancy, I think it's really important to put something in your mouth every hour just to keep your blood sugar more level, and that often helps. Sometimes if you're coming off of caffeine and you've been a coffee drinker and now you're early pregnant and you gave up all that stuff, you might need a little half a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, and that's not considered dangerous.
Well, that's good to hear. Well, you know what? I hope that answers your question, the person that just emailed me. But caffeine is okay as long as you're not drinking it all day, I'm assuming.
One caffeine drink a day is usually considered acceptable in the safety realm.
Because I can remember when I was pregnant with my daughter, and I took care of babies since I was 9, and my goodness, I fell apart. I had so many questions. I read that you shouldn't have caffeinated soda. I must have driven my doctor so crazy because I had so many questions all the time. But, there's no silly question, because how are we supposed to know?
Yeah. And, it's good to do without as much, substances as you can get rid of. But if you can't get rid of caffeine without a headache, I think a half a cup of coffee isn't a big deal.
Oh, that's good to know. Is there anything that scares you when you're a midwife?
anything that scares me.
Yeah, being a midwife.
There's certain complications that are more dangerous than others, and that really put the fear of God in a midwife. And one of them is shoulder dystocia. That's when the head is born on a big baby, and then the shoulders can become stuck. That's probably one of the scariest things. And any obstetrician would tell you that's also.
Oh, I'm sure it's not just
complication that we all, shaking our boots to think that we could have it happen. But we're also trained how to handle it, and most of the time the outcome is great, and it's just one of those things. There's no getting away from risk in life, and that's something that we all need to remember. We're such a culture that's so risk-averse that we want to know that if we make all the right decisions, we have no risk. And no matter what path we take, there's going to be risk. I think we need to acknowledge that.
That's so true, because there's not, nothing is perfect. And sometimes, and I'm not talking about deliveries and births, but sometimes in our life, things that happen that we never thought would happen, you look at it and it has such a great outcome. And you say, I would have never done that, or I would have never thought that. And then you look back. I mean, it's funny because you were talking about being a vet tech, and here you're delivering babies, which is just so fabulous that, we don't know. We're going to have a commercial in just a bit, but when we come back, I want you to talk a little bit about Haiti. And you said that you delivered babies in a motel room and on a sidewalk, things we see on TV. But I am so sad because I don't know if you watched the program on PBS about midwives, The Midwife.
Oh, of course.
But I'm sure you did, which came from a book, and I just love that, because if you haven't watched it, I'm sure you can find it on the internet. It will be coming back. The season just ended. And it's amazing to me because these midwives, what they show is that they ride bikes and they have their big suitcases behind their bike. And, they don't have a lot of drugs or things that we have, available to us now. And it just amazes me. I absolutely love that show, and I'm so sad when it goes off. So if you haven't seen it, it's a PBS show called The Midwife, and I can't wait till it comes back because it's really terrific, and you will so appreciate what we have here for modern science. Just amazes me. I mean, the suitcase alone looks so heavy. But anyway, on that note, we have to break for commercial, and when we come back, we will talk more to Wendy Dotson, certified nurse midwife. Hang in there.
We'll be right back with more Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
Do holidays and celebrations get you down and leave you feeling frazzled? Then join Sandy Fowler and her guests on Heart-Filled Holidays every Monday at noon, 11 a.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Sandy will help you discover the secrets to having the celebrations you've always dreamed of while adding fun and meaning to your life. From Valentine's Day to Christmas to special family events, Sandy Fowler will show you how to put the fun and meaning back into those special days by taking a look at what we can do to turn the upcoming holidays into cherished memories and show us how to allow it to intertwine with everyday life. For more on the show, Sandy, and to receive Sandy's Holiday Happiness booklet, go to heartfilledholidays.com. Then get set to discover the secrets to creating happy holidays and happy everydays by joining Sandy Fowler and her guests on Heart-Filled Holidays every Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time on TogiNet.com.
We often ask, is that all there is? Why is this happening to me? Why am I always broke? How am I going to survive this mess? Then join Dr. Geraldine Tegeloff for Nature Spirit Speak, 7 p.m. Tuesday evenings on TogiNet.com. Geraldine is a metaphysician, nature intuitive, and prosperity coach who shares with you how she went from totally broke to living what she would call her perfectly prosperous life. Through the combination of a wealth of metaphysical knowledge and her amazing ability as an intuitive, Geraldine brings to you the secrets of her magical journey of healing emotionally, spiritually, and financially. As with the ancient seers and master teachers, Geraldine has a unique gift of being able to connect to the simple yet profound messages brought to us by Mother Nature. and happily shares these through today's Note to Self on her webpage, naturespiritspeak.com. If you need help with your journey, why not connect with Geraldine during her show, Nature's Spirit Speak, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back. I'm here with Wendy Dotson. She's certified nurse midwife, and we're talking all about midwifery and how you choose a midwife and what they do. And yes, it's legal, and yes, it's great, and yes, if it works for you, it is so wonderful. You know what? Everybody makes a decision what works, and I just love talking to you, Wendy. Here's a question. How do you choose your midwife? Do you go around and interview, like you interview your doctor? I'm assuming it's the same thing.
Yes, you absolutely do. And a couple of good resources for information on that would be, first, to Google the midwife's model of care, because there's a very clear, sort of a outline of what makes someone a midwife, what's the midwife's philosophy. And there's probably on that same, if you find the midwife's model of care, you'll probably find some guides to interviewing a midwife. And it depends on what you're looking for. Like I said, a lot of the answers to so many questions is it depends. If someone wants a home birth, if they want a birth center birth, or if they want a hospital birth, you want to talk about what are their resources, what's their backup plan, what's their training, what's their experience level, how many births have they done. It's better to have done a couple hundred than 10. It's good to have a really good set of resources for backup. What kind of complications have they handled? Because even though a midwife is an expert at normal, you need to know that they know what to do when things are not normal, and they can recognize that. That's really our job, is to preserve normal pregnancy, normal labor, normal birth, and if it's not normal, to recognize it and take care of it. And that's really what you want a midwife to do. So it depends on the setting that you want. It depends on the experience level that you're looking for. You just get really clear with them what you're looking for and whether they can meet those expectations.
Well, that's really good information. So it's the midwife model of care, and I will also put that on my website as well. So,
Right.
One of the questions that pregnant moms have asked me is, am I going to be embarrassed? Is this embarrassing? And of course, am I going to, go to the bathroom while I'm pushing?
Oh, that kind of thing. Well, we talk about that in pregnancy. The answer is probably yes. Now, we hope you won't be embarrassed, and we try to just let everybody know, hey, everybody's naked and making noise most of the time when they're with us delivering a baby. But, it's not the most dignified procedure. However, most of the time you're so interested in getting that baby out that you're willing to let that dignity go.
Absolutely.
We also really try to protect our mom's dignity by letting them know this is normal. We expect you to make noise. We expect you to not be gracious right now. You can throw some pretty bad language around the room, and none of us is going to bat an eye, because we are with laboring women day in and day out. We know that this is normal behavior.
I am so happy you're saying that, because you know what, it's true. And I just remembering my deliveries, you know what, it all just works together. All you're thinking about is getting the baby out, as you're saying. You don't care, and you know what, that's great to hear, because it is all normal. It's okay to yell and scream, and poor husbands or partners that sometimes get the brunt of it. But
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about Haiti and delivering babies on sidewalks, and not so much in the medical places.
Yeah. Well, Haiti's one of my favorite topics. So if you push that button, I can kind of take off. So stop me if I get too far going. But I work with a nonprofit organization called Midwives for Haiti, and its website is midwivesforhaiti.org. And it was founded by a nurse midwife named Nadine Bronk, who probably in the mid-2000s, maybe 2005, she started going there with the church mission. Lots and lots of churches go to Haiti and give care, give medical care. Usually at a temporary clinic. They'll set up a temporary clinic in a yard or a field or a church, and that's very short term. People show up with, infections, and you give them antibiotics and they walk away. If they have blood pressure problems, they don't get that kind of follow-up that a person would normally get every month. So, Nadine was seeing this happen, and she would see all these pregnant women, and she would ask them, where are you going to deliver your baby? And they would just shrug. And she realized after she did some research that Haiti has the lowest, basically the highest maternal mortality rate in the Western Hemisphere. That's all of South America, Central America, North America. More women die during pregnancy and birth and the postpartum period in Haiti than any other country.
Wow,
and that's the reason why you hear about so many orphanages in Haiti. Orphanages in Haiti are, how many of us know someone who goes in their church and works at an orphanage? Well, this is orphan prevention. We have founded a nonprofit that works on helping provide more midwives in Haiti so that they're skilled people to take care of the mothers during their pregnancy and during their birth so that they don't deliver by themselves in their little house with no running water.
Wow, that's amazing. You know what? I never knew that. So you've delivered babies on the sidewalk, and
the sidewalk birth is something that just happened right outside the hospital. We had a mama who just was checked, and she wasn't really ready to deliver. And at this particular hospital, there's nowhere for her to be other than walking around the hospital until you check her again. So she walked outside, and next thing I knew, there was a lot of hollering, and I ran outside, and her baby came right there on the sidewalk. So we had the stuff. We just ran outside the hospital and delivered it on the sidewalk and walked her back in. And in Haiti, babies are born all over the place because there's so little opportunity for them to have skilled care that people it's not unusual for someone to have a baby on a bus or on the side of the road because they were trying to get to care, but they didn't get there in time. So it's not that unusual.
I can't imagine what you and your organization are doing wonderful things because I can't imagine. We have all the modern things here, and I just can't even imagine. We hear so many times that there was a baby born in a car, but it sounds like it's a whole lot different than in Haiti.
Yeah. Haiti is really undeveloped in terms of their transportation system, although they're making a lot of progress. They have more paved roads than they had even just 5 years ago when I started going. But
are there a lot of C-sections or normal deliveries? Because I'm assuming that the care before the birth is a little different.
Right. Well, most women don't get any care. Most women in Haiti still don't see anybody when they're pregnant at all, and they just have someone from their village might come over and help them have the baby. I think 70% of women don't have a skilled birth attendant at their delivery in Haiti, and that's why they die. They die from not having care during the pregnancy and getting infections and malaria and anemia, and then they die from pregnancy complications and from.
Are they young? Are most of the moms? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but are most of the moms young, or is it all over the place?
It's all over the place because also family planning is not very readily available. So people get pregnant. When they get pregnant, they don't have a lot of control over when they get pregnant. So family planning is part of our services that we provide as well.
That's so great. And I know on your website, again, the LoudounCommunityMidwives.com, they can see more about Haiti.
Yeah, especially if they select my bio on there, then Midwives for Haiti is mentioned, and there's probably some video about working in Haiti. Christy Turlington Burns, Christy Turlington was a supermodel. She still is.
Right.
She's really involved in supporting Midwives for Haiti because her nonprofit is called Every Mother Counts, and they're also involved in keeping mothers alive in developing countries where that's a difficult task. And so her organization, Every Mother Counts, supports Midwives for Haiti. And there's a little video of me and Christy Turlington Burns talking. My sons who are in their late 20s were very impressed that I was on video with her.
You know what? I'm going to have to look at that video. It sounds great because we just, we don't realize. We have so many creature comforts here. We just don't realize that. Not everybody does. So, I will definitely put this on my site. So tell me a little bit about Margie, your partner, Birth Happy, and her book.
Yeah, I hope you can get Margie on your show sometime. She wrote a lovely book. Margie and I founded our practice in 2003. We have been working together since 1999. And she wrote a great book last year called Birth Happy, The Savvy Woman's Approach to a Satisfying Birth. She wrote it with a mama who we have attended several births for with Bridget Herrick. And they wrote this book, and it's about how to approach all. It actually is interesting that you talked about information overload and how many choices we have. And it really helps women navigate the choices that are available to them during pregnancy and birth and help them find the right path. And to do it and keep the stress down,
Well, you know what? I am going to try to get Margie on the show because she sounds like a wonderful guest, just like you are. And I have to say goodbye because we are up to the end of our show. So again, this is Wendy Dotson, certified nurse midwife, and please go to her website, www.loudoncommunitymidwives.com, LOUDOUN, and you will see everything you want to know. Wendy, thank you so much for being on the show. You're terrific, and I know anybody that's thinking about using a midwife will go to your site, and if they live where you live, I'm sure they'll be in there for an appointment. So thanks a lot.
Well, thank you for talking with me. It was really a pleasure. Thanks.
You have a great rest of your day. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. So I will put all that information on my website so you can contact Wendy. And if, you know what, if you're a seasoned mom or you're a new mom or you're pregnant and you need some quick tips to perk up those tired eyes and get some more energy, next week's guest is going to be Jackie Silver from Aging Backwards. She will have you feeling beautiful and full of energy before you know it. She has some great beauty tips, easy beauty tips. Not that we're not all beautiful without makeup or anything else, because we are, but I love Jackie Silver. She is a terrific guest, and I can't wait to hear her share all her tips. And by the way, I wanted to tell you on my sites, mybestparentingadvice.com especially, I added a bonus look at Blythe's favorite tips. You know, summer's coming, and my favorite tips on mybestparentingadvice.com and babyinstructions.com have tips with fun activities to do with your bored toddler. Those summer days can be long and hot and cranky. And anyway, so that's under Blythe's favorite tips. And on mybestparentingadvice.com, I just added a recipe that you can make that's so easy. And it will give everybody something to do and then a fun dessert to eat. So also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and I'd like to leave you today with these funny but true little tidbits. A 2-year-old is kind of like having a blender, but you don't have a top on it. And here's to every mother who has ever eaten a candy bar in the closet, because frankly, sometimes you just don't want to share. And if you have toddlers, you know what I'm talking about. So I am so happy you could tune in today. I hope you all have a great rest of the week. School's out for most everybody now, or it will be in a couple weeks. So again, you know, have fun with your toddlers, with your babies. Enjoy each minute. And if you're a new mom, make sure you take a nap when your baby naps, because sleep is the key. And don't forget to drink lots of water. So I will see you next time. Bye-bye.